system where I could actually ask questions and it would give me instant feedbacks. So yeah, that's why I don't do this kind of live stream anymore. But now quick a few quick what did I say? Why is my screen skincare so um low quality? So then what's this video about, right? So there's some really conflicting higher order level ideas, right? But these abstract ideas is the only thing I have working with now. Not real experiences, and you know, it is highly abstract, and it's almost too deep to stick to reality at all, right? So I'm glad I could involve in this sort of thinking, resolving conflicts. But then John Beeson has always argued that walking is a part of life. You can't avoid it. So what will you do, right? So first of all, time is important, and then you should do things that maximize your productivity, even though it would be in short-term conflict with your co-workers, your boss, your friends, or so life has always been hard. But John Beeson's solution is that you can't avoid working, so you might as well choose where you walk, and where you spend your time to essentially build a second family in your workplace, right? And then somehow you incorporate with your main family so that essentially you would have an harmonious and meaningful, and you'd actually exist the work that the lives, the work that you build, right? So you work so hard, so you make sure you have to choose the place you work, but you have to work very hard, and it's somewhat creative work as well, right? It's or discussions or that sort of humanity things really. Yeah, and same for the engineers. You choose a place you work, and you build something meaningful that you care about, that are beyond money and beyond contributing, or beyond being a slave. You are still a slave, but more than that, you are also contributing to something that you're proud of, so that your business stand, right? You have to work hard, because otherwise you're just cheating, and feel really guilty about not working hard, right? So but then this guy just came casually from a different background, and then they just so angry for 200 pages, and I'm talking about the Millionaire Fastlane, but also the 4-hour work week, or some old advice from the 4 a.m. club. Yeah, so it's all about the same thing. It's about how you can like stay away from education and the job market and make money. And it is based on reality, because this Robert Kiyosaki, guy, I deeply respect. I know where he came from, and there are truth, there are grounds in his books, in his ideas, right? But then all of these ideas that are you should avoid working to essentially studying, because getting a job equal you don't learn anything. Okay? You get a job and you don't learn anything. To some extent, it depends on the specific situations, but that could be true, right? So that's that. So you have that. You also, I don't know. Because I have never worked, I planning to study very hard. But then, yeah, the idea are grounded for sure in Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's seemingly very in conflict with what I already know from Jordan Peterson, but it actually not. It actually is so grounded, and it's actually complement each other now that I think about it for more than a week. Um, it's all important, and money has its own mind, and money is a hard thing to manage, man. I just barely agree with such a spontaneous realization. I haven't come to that point yet. I still mostly think that there are much deeper thoughts behind the saying that money has its own mind and money is hard to manage. That that I haven't come to that point yet, but that is the essential idea that I think I must believe because I have enough evidence. And that is a good mindset, mindset for essentially being moral as well. It is, I can't destroy myself in the process of contributing myself to society. It works, but life is so much complicated than that. So much more complicated than the advice that Jordan Peterson give. It's like these two advice between these two authors, and also the third guy enters the picture, which is the author of the Millionaire Fastlane. This book is just ranting about how unfair life is and how he has been lied to by capitalism per se, or by what, I don't know. I have no idea why he's ranting about his unsatisfactory in the world, but yeah, so it's complicated, and I'm glad that I have the curiosity to go through all of this, and it's just me who found this interesting, not that like 80% of the population by temperament don't care about such abstract and curiously driven ideas. They just go to university, and life is simple, man. Life is complicated, but then yeah, so life is also cursed because you have to be rich, you have to have a complicated life, and complicated equal constantly learning and suffering and controlling and planning. So life is cursed either way. It's just that you are rich or poor. It's not that it's really hard to tell if you are improving. It's just a choice. You're rich or you're poor, and then you still live in this highly peculiar space and time, and you just choose. It's choose to be rich or poor, and then being complicated comes with being rich, and that is not comfortable. It's very stressful, and it's require everything you have and focus, and so that's also hard. Most people don't have that choice, and I am being offered this choice, but it's really serious. Okay, so on to the second conflict I want to bring about today. This would actually make a coherent video, right? Fair enough, that's great, that's wow. So it's when I have to be change my mind, or I change my mind because of authority, or I change my mind because of the logic behind such an argument. So it is essentially a tension between, if you have the logic, and sometimes you don't understand the logic, right? But if you have the logic, then you will change your mind. Or alternatively, if you have the authority, you will change your mind. And if you have logic, you don't need to have so much authority or trust. Anyone can check the logic, given that you present it clearly, and it is a technical language, but you just need the logic, and that's enough, right? But in the case that you don't have the logic, or in the case the logic is too complicated to express and to convince others, then you need authority. And that is the thing, authority is trust in other brain, that you don't need to share the logics. You just need the authority to tell people what to do and people will listen. So what is stronger? What is more convincing? Authority and logic. And what could persuade people more? Is the authority like the press or the president or people in the friend group that they essentially um, that they largely consider to be smart and trustworthy, right? So I don't actually know, but logic is a technical way to persuade people, and it's really hard. So I may have to construct out the logic to persuade people, but that is an intellectual thing, and dive deep into the intellectual world. And it is just as hard to live in the intellectual world as the social world. So logic is so hard to build a logical argument, right? But alternatively, you could just be social. You stick with the authority, you gain their trust, you gain their rank, you do what they want you to do, so essentially plays a role in the system, and then you gain high power, and everyone will listen to you, right? Because they need direction, they need leadership, and they represent you with logic, and so essentially logic is very hard, and maybe it's better to just gain authority. But like, occasionally logic does win over authority if your logic is undisputable. And yeah, each has its niche. Logic require evidence, and it's thus not necessarily present in the face of chaos or fast thinking, but the the authority of the social world is changing all the time, and it's required you to be an insider in some sort of sense. So yeah, maybe I choose to be more logical, and then I could actually say things and people listen to me. So being wise, yeah, since the Asian society, since Plato, he has logic, but he don't have any power. So what I mean to say is being wise has nothing to do with being highly with controlling people. So you don't know what you want to do, right? Or it's so. Thanks for watching this video. Hope it helps someone. I hope it actually would compete in this YouTube market. Yeah.